Hey guys, this is potentially one of the most important videos I've ever made. The reason is, I've had a bit of a break from the academy and I've come back with some more awareness of what's been working in the past and what hasn't. But more importantly, I've reached out to people who have had significant growth, like growing from subcontractor or sole trader, 250 to 500,000 a year, to 1.5 million after their first year, to 3 to 5 million after their second year, to up to 11 million on their third year. And these are academy members who have stuck to it and worked through, I don't have time, I don't have money, I don't have, this, that, or the other. And they've worked through those problems with the academy. And the other thing I've been doing is calling people who have cancelled and talking to them and just finding out, like, what's the reason you cancelled? Like, why didn't you lean into the academy? What didn't we provide for you? How can we make it clearer, easier, more streamlined? What can we do differently to help more people understand what's important and be able to grow like these other people have grown? Because it's totally possible for every single one of you to be able to achieve this. So I've done some deep reflection on, our program, our solutions, our method, and what I've realized is everything that we've got is pretty dialed in. It's there, and it can help you achieve what you're looking to achieve, the operational time freedom and even complete time freedom where the business runs without you, or just to run a more efficient business where you're not so stressed and you're making more money with less effort. And that's pretty much what either of those pathways provides you. It's a solution for making more money with less time. And what I wanted to do in this video was to break down what I'm seeing in terms of the people who have cancelled and said, I don't have enough time to utilize the academy, so I can't keep investing when I don't have the time to even visit, do a session or log in. Or I genuinely don't have any money in the bank, and so it's got so bad for them that they don't have any cash left to invest. But at the same time, didn't lean into the academy to understand the problems, because when I'm speaking to them, they don't understand the fundamentals. So that's why I want to make this video. That's why I wanted to work through to make sure every member understands these things. And we're going to be very conscious of how we approach these things for every member moving forward. So the other thing is, well, how can these other members, with their $2,000 a month investment, be going from 250,000 to 1.5 million in their first year, and then to 3 million for another $2,000 a month investment for the next year, and then to 11 million, which is crazy thousands of % growth on return on investment. So I want everyone to be able to look at the academy and be like, this is a non-negotiable. Like, this is going to help me create more awareness. And at the end of the day, what trapped me and what my biggest problems were and what I see in all the members that have cancelled and people that are struggling is the lack of awareness in all these things I'm going to talk about. So I just want to dive into it because these are the common threads that I'm noticing. So first of all, everything starts with your financials. So understanding your P&L is without a doubt the most important thing you need to do, because at least that brings in all of everything that happens in the month, all of your costs, all of your invoicing, and as long as you're closing off the month every month, you got accurate data in that month. So what that means is progress claiming every hour of labor and every material purchased in that month, so it matches up with the stuff you've taken from the wholesaler and the wages you paid to your tradespeople. If you're a sole trader, this is still as important. You still need to close off the month, because we need to know for your effort that month, what profit did you get? Because when that's accurate, that provides clarity and awareness, and you can start to drill down into why were we so profitable, or why were we so negative? And that's a good thing. But if we're not aware, we can't make changes. And if we can't make changes and we continue to just work harder to try and hope that one day we're in a better position, that's a recipe for failure. One of the people I talked to yesterday, they had worked their guts out over the year, and they talked to their accountant and they said, oh, you've made negative $700. And that's soul crushing, right? Like, you worked so hard to make negative 700 and they weren't taking wages. And so they've been just drawing on their savings. There's a systematic problem there that can be addressed early so it doesn't come to that. And so that's what I'm going to be talking through this video. Secondly, with that net profit, that's taking into account all of the costs that you've paid out, all the materials, the labor, all of this, subscriptions and everything that you pay out. And do you have money left over? If so, that's a good thing. If there's a lot, we want to know why. Like, what are you doing that's, you're doing really well? And if you're not making good profit, why not? Like, what changes can we make to make more profit? And then the other thing is spending money that's not yours. So this is a big one for me as well. Liabilities like GST, super, and pay-as-you-go withholdings tax. Just because your bank account's growing doesn't mean you've got money in the bank to spend. So we need to be very aware of how much of that money isn't yours, and not to go and feel confident that you've got money in the bank, therefore you're making money. So it's just being aware of that. And so that all starts with your finances, and we've got a masterclass on that, the financial masterclass. If you haven't put everything into that to understand it and seen our coaches to do that and understand it, you may be missing out on a huge opportunity to make great changes in your business. So just want to push that first. Secondly, pricing awareness. This is a big one I've noticed that not a lot of people are understanding, is your actual cost versus target profit. And the big one that you need to track is labor, because materials is pretty clear. You price for materials, what you use. You either overuse or you underuse. The same thing goes with labor. So when you price a job, you need to be coming under your allowed time. If you're not, you're losing profit first. Like, your profit gets drained first before everything else. So if you've got a 20% margin on the job and you go 20% over on labor, you've lost all your profit. You're not making money anymore. If you go over that, you're now losing money on the job. So being aware of this every single job is really important, and having things to catch it when it's not going in the right way is also very important. So reverse engineering and understanding your break even is important, and it's for you to be able to know that every day and to be ticking that off like a checkbox every day, so that you don't have to get to the end of the month and go, why have we lost so much money? So that's really important as well. The other thing I'm noticing with the people that have cancelled is they're quoting like it's them doing the job. And so when they get staff to go out there and do it, they just don't do it as fast, and they don't have the same attitude. And here's the thing, they never will. They won't have the same attitude as you. They'll never work as hard as you. So don't expect they will. So the better thing to do is to price for an average person to do it. And then sometimes you get superstars who can go above and beyond, and they make great profit for you, and they are great for the business. And you can train people by coaching them to get faster and better at the jobs, which will then make you more profit because you've allowed for the average person to get it done. And the other thing is, you can hire average people and still make profit. So that's why we want to make sure we're pricing for a team to do it, not you. Then we want to make sure we're covering all of our overheads. So the thing with the pricing is, at the end of the month, have you made profit? Because that takes into account all of the non-billables, all of the billable hours, all of the materials you purchased, and markup. So that's all of the things that equate to how well your business is going. So there's a masterclass on this as well, which is the Profitable Pricing Masterclass. You need to do this one. Honestly, like, these things have to be, those two are fundamental for you to have the awareness of, is your business being successful and profitable or not? Very, very important. Okay, the next thing I'm noticing is job productivity. Did you make money on the job? Did your team finish on time, or did the job blow out? Are you consistently over budget on time, which is a signal that your pricing's probably doesn't have enough time built into it? And did your job hit the profit target and wages and materials or not? So, and and extras being missed. Here's a big one that happens all the time, is people just don't put on the job notes extra things they've done or variations, and they do it and they spend the labor and they spend the materials, but you don't actually invoice for it. These are all things you will find when you start looking at the monthly profit and loss, then drilling into every single day as like, was that day profitable? If it was, why was it? If it wasn't, why not? And then drilling into every job. And I know this sounds like a lot, but it's not when you do it as a part of your routine every day, as a part of your invoicing routine, where you double check all these things before you send the invoice. It will flag it every single time you're doing it, with just a little bit of extra time to do a little bit of an awareness piece. Next thing, operational efficiency. The most important thing you need to be aware of is this. How many billable hours versus paid? So say if you've got 5 jobs on the schedule and they're all an hour each, so let's of actual time, then all of those would have, and let's just say there's 2 billable hours per job. So they went to site, they were able to do 2 billable because they got the job done fast, but then the problem is the thing is they were able to get it twice as fast. So on site, they were on site for 5 hours of the day. We paid them for 8, but we were able to bill for 10. So this is just a hypothetical, but it's just to make a point. So you actually, the job productivity was 200%. The day productivity was 10 hours, so total billable hours over hours paid, and it's something like 120%. I haven't worked it out, but so you're above. So that extra 20%, if you've allowed for in your pricing, 20% for the day to be productive, you've just doubled your profit for the day. Not just 20%, doubled, because you've gone above that amount. Okay, so that's a big one. So understanding that is really important. This one here is billable hours over paid. To work out job productivity, it's let me just chuck it in here. It's billable hours versus or over divided by actual hours on site divided by times 100 to work out your percentage. That's going to give you your job productivity and show you the performance of your team. Are they achieving the jobs in the time you've allowed for? This one here is more about, are you scheduling and accounting for all of the billable hours in the day and still being profitable? Are you able to achieve profitability over the whole day? So things that fuck that up is, are you scheduling smartly? So looking to minimize travel between jobs versus scattered, where you're sometimes going all over the city to try and get to jobs with like an hour and a half travel between jobs. That is critical to understand. That's costing you a lot of money. Are your jobs are guys getting paid to drive around and wait for stock and chat to wholesalers and, just stuff that doesn't actually equate to profitability, when you could be using something like the Uber strategy for small goods? Are you charging for everything that's done? Like, are you quoting for everything? Are you not, if there's something's out of the scope, are you talking to the customer early and getting a variation and approval for the extra work? Even if it's like a PowerPoint for electrical, if it's a PowerPoint for us at Response, and we get there and it's actually going to take an hour and a half to do, we tell them this isn't a standard install. It's going to take it's going to be an extra 70, $95 or whatever it is. We won't say the time, but for us it's an extra 30 minutes, and then we just say the price of how much it will be extra and the reason why. So we tell the story with it. Communicate early. Are you charging for everything? Yeah. And also, if there's a callback or anything, are you looking for every way to charge for that time to be able to, if you've done the job well and it's actually not your fault, don't do things for free. Charge for everything. It's your business, it's your money, it's your personal money, it's your family's money. Make sure you're covering yourself. What is your times billable percentage? That's what we just talked about before. So total jobs over the day, you just add up all the billable hours on every job, and then you divide it by hours paid. It will give you how well that person's day went in terms of productivity. So have a target for that. But what you'll start to notice is when people finish early, they start late, they have big breaks, they go to the wholesaler in the middle of the day, it costs you a lot of money. Okay, team performance. So are you working to the time given, or is your team crushing it? So if you've allowed for an average person to do it, you can hire average people and you'll still be profitable. Then you can take a proactive approach to coach the people that you've got, rather than a stressed approach because they're actually costing you money because your pricing's too tight, and actually help them achieve their billable rate, but also go above and beyond, like get closer to you, which is if they could double the speed they do it, if they can do it in half the time, they're not just doubling your profit, they're like 5xing it or 10xing it. So that's the power of labor productivity and getting it right and dialing it in. Are they proactive with doing upsells and reviews and tidy work? Like upsells, they're already there. You've already paid to get them to drive there and to talk to the customer and all the non-billable stuff that goes. So maximizing the value of every job you do is critical. Do they take ownership or constantly ask for answers? So what sort of staff have you got? Are they people that are self-driven? Are you allowing them to make mistakes? Are you empowering them to go and do the job and manage their own vehicle and manage their own jobs without you micromanaging everything? The more you micromanage, the more they're going to lean on you because they're scared that they're not going to do it the right way. If you allow them to do it their way and coach them to be more in alignment with what you think, then that's probably the best way to deal with that. Are you doing everything you can for them, or are you getting them to step up? So this is an easy thing to fall into because you want to be a good boss, right? You want to be helping your team. You want everyone to succeed, but by going and doing everything, it doesn't allow them to grow. And are you training them or babysitting them? Allow them. This is where the leveling system comes in. Like if you've got clear level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, this is how you can earn more money. This is how you can grow. Then that's what we want. Like we want it to be clear and very clear and help them understand what they need to do to improve. And you're going to have exponential benefit by them trying to work on themselves and self-improve rather than you trying to manage them to be a certain way with no clear direction of what it is that you actually want from the first place. So business owner focus and prioritization. This is the big one. This is people like, I'm too busy doing all the work. I'm too busy to focus on anything other than what I've got in front of me right now. That's called reactive, the reactive state. You are stuck. You as a business owner are the most important person in the business to have the awareness. So prioritizing what's going to create awareness for you is important. Are you too busy to think because you're always on the tools, and your tools might be, operations and admin, or it might be you're just trying to get sales because you've got an ops team. Whatever it is that your tools are you so overwhelmed with the amount of load that you've got in there that you can't keep up? We've got a capacity issue. We've got to release you from that so that you can have awareness to make good decisions, because otherwise you could just be running, like that story from earlier, a business that's not actually profitable, and you're not making those little micro improvements every day that are actually going to make exponential growth for you in the long term. This is a big one. People are spending too much time on low impact tasks. Think the multiplier effect video. If you haven't seen that, search it in the Academy and watch the multiplier effect video. It talks about the impact of each of the different roles in the business. And if you're prioritizing going on the tools over coming to an Academy board meeting where you're actually going to get awareness around your situation and make better decisions for the whole week, we've got a problem with your priorities. So if you feel like you're going on the tools instead of prioritizing sales, that's also a problem. You're better off hiring someone to go on the tools and you spend time on the sales. And you've got this. The other one is people don't feel like they can put their prices up because they're going to lose the job. But if you had more time to do sales and build a relationship and trust, you will be able to sell anything. So if you're there, most of the time people don't buy with you is because you didn't follow it up quick enough. You didn't answer your phone. You you felt like they didn't get a good feeling from you because you were stressed and overwhelmed. So that's why they don't buy at a higher rate, not because your price. They're just saying price. It's actually not that. It's because you're stressed as a business owner or a salesperson, and it's coming across and they don't want to buy from you with your presentation. So what would happen if you use the time for higher impact tasks effectively? And the missing link for all of these things is you don't know what you don't track. Getting stuck in the reactive state and you actually don't know what's happening in the business. Awareness of your finance helps you with decision making power. Awareness of the job performance is pricing accuracy. You can make micro changes to your pricing, make sure that the next job is priced correctly, or you make the variations to make profit. Awareness of your team output, like delegating with confidence and getting those self-improvement cues happening in the business, and awareness of your own time and prioritizing, and leaning into your investment here at the Academy, because we're here to help you make smarter moves, not just for you to go get stuck working on the tools or get stuck just being overwhelmed in your operation. The thing is, you need to release yourself from those responsibilities, and the way to do it is to price correctly, understand your finances. If you're stressed about money, get clear. Go and book a meeting with one of our finance coaches. If you're worried about pricing, redo the Profitable Pricing Masterclass or talk to a coach about pricing. Those things are really important. Understand how to track labour efficiency for the job and for the day and overall for the month, and that will help you understand how well your team's performing and your pricing if it matches it. And that is everything I've been thinking about lately. Hope it helps. Chuck it in the comments. What have you taken out of this? What are you going to do? What are you going to commit to moving forward? And I look forward to seeing what you come up with. See you guys.